Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks for today. We're talking Monday, December 8th. Happy Monday, everybody, but not really. I'm only going to have two NBA player prop picks for today. It's a pretty gross slate. There are only three games. These three games right here, and none of them are really that great. So I didn't want to play today too heavily or anything like that. Just have two plays for you guys to lock in. It's been a couple days since I have had an NBA video. Didn't have anything on Saturday at all. I ended up playing yesterday and I completely broke even. Literally went 2 for 2, 0.00 units of profit/loss. So this number you see here includes everything that I've played this year. Obviously, it's a very, very gross number. We had a pretty nice run last week where we won 8 of 9 plays. We were down a little bit the 2 days after that, but still in the green last week overall. Obviously, we got a ton of work to do to get ourselves into the green on the year, but we got a long ways away to do that. It's been a tough start to the year, just really, really frustrating, which happens. So we'll move on. We'll get better as the season goes on, hopefully, and get this number in the green. As for today, I actually don't have anything in this Kings versus Pacers game. The first play that I have here is in the Suns versus Wolves, and I went with Collin Gillespie, but I took him 18 plus points. So his over-under is at 16.5 at minus 105 at BetMGM and Hard Rock, minus 110 at FanDuel. But you can get 18 plus points at plus 115 at Fanatics. And I think getting that extra point, especially getting at the plus 115 price, I think makes a lot of sense as opposed to getting like minus 110 at FanDuel. Now, that number sounds disgusting because he's only done that in 5 of 23 games this year. That's obviously not great, but he's been much better recently. You look at his last 9 games, he's hit 18 or more points in 5 of his last 9 games. He's averaging about 31 minutes per game, up from his season average of 26.8. So he's playing more minutes. His usage rate is higher. His field goal attempts up to 13.5 the last 10 games, up from 10.5 on the season. So everything is kind of in an upwards trajectory for Collin Gillespie. But the biggest thing here is no Devin Booker. He's out with a groin strain. Now, Gillespie's only played 1 game this year without Booker, and it was this game right here where he went under. He only scored 13 points. But you got to look at that matchup. That was against the Rockets, who have among the best defense in the NBA. I mean, in terms of defensive net rating, they're third, literally the third best defense in the NBA. Now, he also went over against another really, really good defense in the Thunder, who have the best defense in the NBA. So this is not me saying that, oh, he can't go over against a good defense, but I can forgive him for not going over against the Rockets, especially in a game in which he shot 1 of 7 from deep, just couldn't make a 3-pointer. That's going to happen. Now he gets a matchup against the Timberwolves, who the Timberwolves are thought of as being a really good defense. They're actually not that great of a defense this year. They're, in terms of defensive net rating, they're 15th. So they're literally in the middle of the pack in terms of defensive net rating. But the ways in which they are bad lines up pretty well for Collin Gillespie. And that is guarding the pick and roll ball handler. That is where the majority of his points come from. And as you can see, they are the worst, literally the worst pick and roll defense in the entire NBA. Now, they're the number 1 defense guarding spot up shooters. That makes complete sense because if you're giving up a lot to the pick and roll ball handler, you're not giving up a lot in the spot up. Now, those play types are equal in terms of where or how his points come from. But with no Devin Booker, he's going to run a lot more pick and roll than he is going to be spotting up. I mean, there's nobody left to run this offense, to run pick and rolls on the Timberwolves. And what I like is that in terms of frequency, so basically when he's on the floor, what play types does he run? Collin Gillespie actually runs the highest rate of frequency as the main pick and roll ball handler on the entire team, even above Devin Booker. Devin Booker obviously does it more because he's on the court more, but Gillespie has done it a lot more recently, and I'm guessing he's going to do it a lot more with Devin Booker out. So even though, if you look at the entire year, it looks incredibly gross, he's only hit that in 5 of 23 games, but all 5 of them have come in his last 9 games, and we saw him do it against the Timberwolves. Put up 12 shots, scored 20 points. That was with Devin Booker, played 34 minutes. They won this game. So I do think that we were able to get a little bit of a good price on Gillespie because no Devin Booker and because he went under in the first game that Booker missed. I think we're getting a nice value here on Collin Gillespie. And you just look at similar players to him, or this is actually just looking at guards. But, what, 7 straight have gone over against the Timberwolves. Are just not good at guarding players who are handling the ball, which is funny because you think of them as this like phenomenal defense, but that really hasn't been the case this year. So getting Gillespie at plus money to score 18 points, I think is pretty good. I was close to taking him to go to 20, which you can get at like plus 180 something, I believe is the best price there on FanDuel, but we're just sticking with the 18 plus. That is our first play. Next up, our second and final play. We're going to De'Aaron Fox, who's been an MVP for us this year. I took De'Aaron Fox. I think I've taken him 3 times this year, and he's come through all 3 times. Let's hope that he comes through again for us tonight. Now, I'm taking him 25 plus points, which is plus 104 at FanDuel. Now, the biggest thing for Fox, he missed this in his first 4 games. Guess who played in these first 4 games? Victor Wembanyama. You look at games without Wemby, he's played 10 games. He scored 25 or more points in 9 of 10 games, which is obviously incredible consistency. Now, there are some games where he came close. 25 against the Cavs, 25 against the Timberwolves, 26 against the Grizzlies, the Hawks, and the Suns. But he's been incredibly consistent. He's getting his shots, and he's been scoring really well. The matchup against the Pelicans, on the year, it looks like a really good matchup. 20th in terms of points allowed to the guard position. From a play type perspective, they're below average guard and pick and roll ball handler a ton in transition. Their defense I will admit, has gotten better guarding guards as the season has gone on. So these numbers over the last month are not as good as they are on the season. But this is less playing the matchup and more playing the situation, in a number that I just think is a little bit undervalued. Now, the biggest news for this game is that Stephon Castle is questionable. He's been out for about a month, actually. He's been out for about a month. And this is also when Fox did a lot of his damage, was when Castle is out. Like, if you look at games with Castle, it's only 1 game. And this was actually the game in which Castle got hurt. You look at the last game he played, was this game against the Kings, where he only played 16 minutes. So we don't really have a ton of data on Fox with Castle without Wemby. But what we do know is that when Castle was playing with Fox, he was the one who was doing all of the facilitating while Fox was scoring. So if you look at Fox in these limited games that he played with Castle, now he was only over in one of these 5 games. But I mean, if you look at the games, 24, 24, 21, and this was also when he was just coming back from injury. So this with Stephon Castle doesn't scare me off a ton, to be honest with you, because this was literally his first game back against the Pelicans. This was his second game back. So you can kind of forgive him. And his over-under in these games, he went over in 4 of 5. So you can see that the books were undervaluing De'Aaron Fox, which is what I currently think they are still doing. So I like for Fox to score 25 plus points in this one. Even with Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle back, Fox is the one that's scoring, right? He's doing the majority of the scoring load. These guys are the ones facilitating the offense. And I think if you're looking for an assist play, I think Stephon Castle on the assists is really, really good. You take him up to 7 assists, I think is really solid. Him to get to 7 assists, it's like plus 140, I think is a really good price. Obviously, the concern here is Wemby played in 4 of these games. Wemby missed this game right here. I think the Wemby missed only the one that he got hurt in. No, I want to look at without Wemby, excuse me. The game in which Fox got hurt, Castle got hurt. Yeah, so he never played a full game without Wemby. He played 16 minutes and got 5 assists. So if you extrapolate that out, he would have gotten 10 assists in this game. But we don't have that. We don't have that data. But the matchup is really, really good for point guard assists against the Pelicans. And since I think Stephon Castle is going to be the one facilitating the offense, the matchup is really good for him. Really, the only concern, there are a couple. Number one, all of these games in which he went over, Wemby played. Also, all of these games in which he went over, Dylan Harper did not play. Harper has never played a game with Castle and with Fox. So we don't really know what this guard rotation is going to look like in terms of who's doing what, because Castle, it was basically like the 2-man with Castle and Fox. Castle facilitates, Fox scores. Now, I think Fox scoring is going to be there, but I don't know if the Castle assists are going to be quite as good with Harper back without Wemby. The matchup is fantastic, and we've seen him like 13 assists, 11 assists, 10 assists. We obviously know he can do it. It's just, is he going to be on a minutes restriction in his first game back in 3 weeks, because he last played November 16th. So there's enough unknowns to put me off of the Castle assists. But I mean, if you want to ladder him up to 10, that's like plus 850, him to get the 10 assists in a really good matchup. So if I'm going to play Castle assists, I'd probably just go for gold, put 0.1 units on him to get to 10 assists at plus 850. But that's all we got for today. Again, it's a gross slate. These are the two plays that we are on. De'Aaron Fox, 25 plus points. Collin Gillespie, 8 plus points. Appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and have a good one.